Alright, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Musings. So, what Musings is going to be about is just me talking about things that interest me while I play video games. Quick thing about the game, it's called Braid. It's an indie game from 2008, and it's about time. And the rest you'll have to watch to find out, huh? Alright, so I'm going to talk about time, since this game is exactly about that. And also because time and thinking about time travel and all these different things has fascinated me for many years. So first, time. What is time? Time is a really mysterious thing, and it's such a simple concept, and we all grow up understanding it, and yet there are so many things we don't understand about it. Let's do a thought experiment. We can imagine time as a straight line from the past all the way to the future, and it's just one straight line, say, from the beginning of the universe all the way to the end of the universe. Right now, we're experiencing what we call the present. And what's super cool about that is we're all time travelers right now, and we're moving on this line at exactly 1 second per second. We're slowly moving on this line as our future becomes our present and our present becomes our past. What's really interesting is that there's two perspectives to looking at this motion. You can see this line as a string, and imagine yourself, the present, standing beside the string and pulling it backwards at a constant rate. So in this perspective, you stand still and you're the present, and the present remains constant while the line of time moves along as you experience new events. The past moves behind you and gets slowly farther away, and the future gets slowly closer to you. Now, the second perspective is if you imagine this line of time as stationary, and you imagine yourself, the present, as say a bead on this string, and this bead is moving along the string at the same constant speed. And of course, this is a direct opposite to the other perspective. You, the present, are moving, and the timeline stays motionless. What this thought experiment shows us is that past and future are relative, that past is simply what's behind the present or to the left, if you're used to seeing chronology from left to right, and our future as what's to the right of you or in front of you, or however you want to imagine this. Past and future are just names we give, and the present is what we experience, what we see, hear, feel right now. So that is our timeline. It contains or keeps track of all our experiences, from life to death of each human being and from life to death of our universe. Is that not cool? Everything is on this one line. Now, here's the tricky bit. Even though it's just a simple one-dimensional line, it's the one dimension we can't really control our movement through. See, space, which we perceive in 3 dimensions, we can move forwards and backwards and left and right and up and down. And our physical bodies exist in space, and they're capable of movement in space. But here's the thing. We're not really able to control our movement through the line of time. It's very difficult. You can raise your hand a meter higher, you can jump, you can run faster than you were running than before, but we can't control our experience through time. We're always going to move through the present at 1 second per second. Well, actually, I'm lying, but this is pretty much true for us on Earth. Believe me, and I'll tell you the truth in another video. To speed up how fast the present is experiencing for you, how fast that bead is moving along the string, how fast you're pulling that timeline along, it's very difficult to change. It is possible, but we'll talk about that some other time. Now, since we all move along time at the same speed, we experience time together in simultaneity. Although we all are in different spaces, we always experience the universe at the same time. The present is the same for all of us on Earth. How cool is that? Alright, so let's talk about time travel. What I mean when I say time travel is not the time travel that I just mentioned, but the science fiction idea of time travel, where you can jump to the future, jump to the past, freeze time, accelerate or slow your movement through time. I'm incredibly fascinated with this idea because it's sort of a human obsession to be able to change things that we can't, change conditions. The fact that we're stuck moving along this line of time at 1 second per second, we're not happy with that. And I'll talk about the physics and the possibility of time travel in the real world in the next video. So, we create these imaginary worlds where time travel is possible. I believe the first glimpse of this idea is a flash animation I saw in grade 4 or something. It's called Time Fight, and if you can imagine what a boy in 4th grade is into, then you can imagine this. Stick figures violently fighting, of course. Now, I'll link this animation in the description, but as a warning, it's violent, in a cartoon flash animation kind of way. And it's also kind of terribly animated, but this thing was the coolest thing ever as a boy in the 4th grade. It's about the stick figure discovering a time traveling watch and killing a bunch of people while time traveling, because obviously that's what you do when you time travel. And the time traveling is super, super amazing. It blew my mind when I first saw it. First time I saw it, I didn't understand what was going on. I had to watch it 3, 4, 5 times before I could understand and follow along. This is an old flash animation, and I'll link it in the description. But man, this concept just blew my mind. It's great. Go watch it. So after that, I got really interested and started reading more about time travel. There's this one webcomic I read called Bob and George, which really explored time travel and the implications that changing the past can make on the future or the present, creating paradoxes and all sorts of things. I started reading cool books like Harry Potter, and as you probably know, the 3rd book has a lot of time travel. So I started thinking about all this craziness, and I couldn't get enough of it. We're all so fascinated with this idea that we can control time, just as we control our movement through space. So that'll end this musing. Don't worry, I'll get all into the nitty-grittiness of time travel in future videos. Thanks for watching, and go watch that stick animation. Pretend you're in 4th grade.